Coming up on Activate Live, preview Veterans Day by getting to know our veterans who are members of the IAM. Hear about some historical moments and a video tribute, all next on Activate Live.
Activate your voice.
Activate it now.
Live from Maryland, this is Activate Live.
Welcome to Activate Live. Tanya Hutchins here at Machinists Union headquarters in Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Today, it's all about our IAM veterans who served our countries, whether in the United States or Canada. We are thankful for their service, their skills, and their training. Veterans Day is Saturday in the United States, and Saturday is Remembrance Day in Canada. Canadians wear red poppies, and I hear there is a proper poppy protocol. Poppies are an international symbol of remembrance in Canada. Poppies are commonly worn on the left side or displayed on a wreath to honor Canadians who lost their lives in service to the country. Poppies are traditionally worn during the Remembrance period between the last Friday in October until the end of the day on November 11th, which is this Saturday. In the United States, we honor our service members who are still living on Veterans Day. And if you're a veteran, let us know by commenting on this video. And if you have an old photo from when you served, post that right along with your comment. We love seeing photos of our members in uniform and members who support our military. At the end of the show, we'll play a video clip that we hope you'll share on social media, so keep watching for that. Now, we're going to speak with several veterans working in the Maryland area. If you're in IAM Locals 4 or 24, you'll see some familiar faces. We'll also speak with Charlie Mcauliffe about some historical moments for the IAM. First up, though, we welcome Leigh Adams to let us know what's happening this week in labor news. So, Leigh, you're starting out in Texas.
Yeah, we want to offer our condolences to the people of Sutherland Springs, Texas. Very tragic incident with the shooting victims there, so we definitely want to offer our condolences. And also a big thank you to union member Stephen Williford for being a hero and actually saving more lives by tracking down that killer.
Yeah, so he did save lives. Yes. And also Local Lodge 4, which we're going to hear from some members. But tell us what's been going on there.
Local Lodge 4, let me put on my glasses. Thank God I got a good union insurance to help my terrible eyesight.
That's right.
On Friday and Saturday, members of IAM Local 4 will hold an informational picket. And this will be held at Charlotte Hall Veterans Home in Charlotte Hall, Maryland. And this will be to talk about the substandard agreement that members will vote on soon, and also to highlight some of the conditions at the Charlotte Hall Veterans Home.
And this is one of the signs that they may see. They have quite a few, the signs that they've made up for those informational pickets on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, they do, and it should be, should be a very, very good informational picket. But Friday and Saturday, if you're in the area, Charlotte Hall, Maryland, please come out and show your support.
Now, yesterday was Election Day. Lots of different states went to the polls. How do we do in terms of politicians who are fighting for working families, workers' rights, and union rights?
Well, I tell you, we really want to salute District 751 Legislative and Political Director Larry Brown for winning Auburn, Washington City Council seat.
There he is. He's got his Machinists Union jacket right there.
Yeah, with the Harley.
The Harley.
And this is what we always tell our members, not just to get engaged with voting, but also to participate in the process. And Larry Brown doing this is a prime example of that. So congratulations, Larry.
Congratulations, Larry. And we always try to research how politicians vote on issues that affect working families, like overtime and sick leave, paid sick leave. So we do that research, and we make sure that we only back politicians that are fighting for us. So we want to vote for people who are voting for us. At least that's what I do.
Yes. We definitely want to make sure that we hold everybody accountable from the time we elect them to the time they're in office. So that's what we're doing. And we had a huge win for working families in New York and for the IAM Eastern Territory. with the defeat of the Constitutional Convention ballot. It was a big win for families there, and it rejected opening up the New York State Constitution, any funny business that could go on once you do that and go through that process. So congratulations to the IAM Eastern Territory.
All right, that's great. So we have New York and Virginia, where it looks like we're having more of a voice now for working families.
Yeah, so IAM endorsed candidates for governor in New Jersey and in Virginia. In Virginia, Ralph Northam secured a victory, and in New Jersey, Phil Murphy secured a victory. And we believe that their victories will help create a better future for working families. And not only in these two states, but across the nation, there are victories that we think will help create a better atmosphere for some of the things that the labor movement stands for, especially IAM members.
And I think it's important to say that no dues money is ever used on any political candidates. That's a separate fund, a voluntary fund, and people often wonder about that, so I think it's important to say that.
That's important to say, and thank you for mentioning that, Tanya. So.
And also, you have some pretty cool Machinists Union gear here today.
Yeah, right downstairs at IAM headquarters store. I was able to get some fresh gear. Thank you, Amy, for giving me this fresh gear. And if you want to order fresh gear like I did downstairs, you can just go to our website, www.machinistgear.com, and get a nice pullover, a nice polo, or any other item that bears our logo.
That's right. I'm wearing a Machinists Union Veterans T-shirt, but I kind of finagled it a little bit, and that's the website right there, machinistgear.com, and you can order. I think the logo on the left there is for the young machinists. So there are lots of different options. I took my T-shirt and turned it around backwards and cut out the top because I think the back looked really cool. All gave some. So I wanted to show that part. Yeah. So I'm wearing mine backwards, but
and they work so hard down there in the store. So again, a big shout out to people at the headquarters store.
And one more website we'd like to mention is UnionNation.com, because their second CD was just released, and it's Union Nation with one N in the middle. And there are some great songs on there. It's labor music. The lyrics are really important. That every union member can relate to when it comes to fighting for a voice on the job.
Yeah, that's good. I look forward to listening to it.
Yeah, it should be good. And we already posted one music video on Facebook and YouTube, so people are already taking a look at that. But yeah, just check it out, UnionNation.com, and you can download the songs directly from that website. The CDs, I understand, are being printed as we speak. If you'd like a physical copy, and you'll hear more from Union Nation next week. So.
Nice.
Great. Okay. Anything else I forgot?
No, just participate. This is a union, so make sure you're out there participating. And don't forget, always organize.
Always organize. Thank you so much, Delane.
Thank you, Tanya.
Keeping us up to date on what's going on. Well, we are going to check our comments throughout the show because we'd like to hear from you. So if you are listening right now on Twitter and you had been trying to find us on Facebook, just go over to YouTube and you can watch it there. So right now we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube. Just search Machinists News or Machinists Union and you'll see our channel on YouTube. And we have some people who are joining, and we have 3 ways for you to get to us in case something like this happens. But join us on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube. And if you need information, you can also comment on YouTube. We do allow comments on there as well. If you're on Twitter, just hit the reply button, or you can quote us and let us know if you're a veteran, if you're watching. So if you're just joining us, Veterans Day is coming up this Saturday in the United States, and that same day, Canada will celebrate Remembrance Day. And if you're a veteran here in the USA, you have a chance to win free Maine lobster. Wade Falkingham is the proud sponsor of the Veterans Day lobsters being given away this Saturday. Wade has been a Jonesport Beals lobster fisherman for the last 25 years. You see him over there on the left when he was in the service and also as a lobsterman there. He also served in the United States Marine Corps. Now, these photos contain Wade's father, Lionel Falkingham, who is 94 years old. He's over on the right, and he served in the United States Coast Guard. And his daughter Dana is right in the middle, Dana Morgan, who works on the boat with him. So we'd like to thank Wade for his service and for sponsoring this month's contest. For more information, visit the Lobster 207 Facebook page, where you can like and share and nominate a veteran to enter. That's on Facebook page Lobster 207, and you have until Saturday to enter. You can either nominate a veteran to win, or if you're a vet, you can nominate yourself. Now, we would like to introduce you to some of the many other veterans that are part of the IAM. And the president of IAM Local Lodge 4 from Southern Maryland, Sheldon Barber, is joining us right now. Thank you so much for being here, Sheldon.
My pleasure, Tanya.
No problem. You know, I see you online. You're very active on Facebook and keeping your members aware of what's going on. Tell us a little bit about your service, where you were, what you did when you served.
I enlisted in the Army at 19 in April of 1988. I served for 4 years. I served 2 years overseas in Germany, and I did another year and a half back stateside.
What was your job? What was it like?
I was in telecommunications. I didn't actually do much of that, which they trained me for. I kind of ended up dabbling in a lot of other things, kind of on an as-needed basis. But overall, it was a very good experience.
And that's often what happens. You're utilized where you're needed.
Exactly.
Well, tell us a little bit about the transition that you made when you were coming out of the service. What was that like for you?
It was actually a little bit difficult for me because back then I got out in the early 90s, and back then, you know, these higher veteran initiatives and things that they have now, they didn't have back then. So it took me a while to actually get a good job, and as it turned out, you know, my service actually had nothing to do with the job I ended up getting, but
you still had good skills.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, I think I have a lot of skills that translated. Learned a lot of skills in the Army that translated.
Now, how did you get involved in the union, and how has the union helped you as a veteran and helped other union members?
Well, I got involved in it. I was kind of born to it. My father was a cement mason, Local 891 in Washington, D.C. He was very active. He served as president of his local and a few other positions during his career before he retired. So once the idea of us organizing down at Pax River came up, I jumped in with both feet.
That is great. And tell us about the importance of making sure that our union members are involved by going to the meetings to find out not only what's going on, but what the union benefits are.
Yeah, we're always on our members about, coming out. That's the only way, we have other means. We have our Facebook page and our website and other things, but we tell people there's no better way to get the information than firsthand coming to the meetings. So we're always on, our membership about trying to get out to the meetings and get involved.
Okay, I'm going to give you a chance to give a shout out. Is there anything else that you want veterans to know if they're about to make that transition? What's your message to them?
Just, not to give up. If it's a little bit difficult in the beginning, don't give up. Like I said, there's programs now, higher veteran initiatives and things that we didn't have back when I came out. So just, seek the resources that are out there and take advantage of them, and, don't give up. Stick with it. And
we have IAM Crest.
Absolutely, IAM Crest.
Which I'm so used to saying Crest, I forget it's the Corporation for Reemployment Safety and Training, so that there are some grants that are available to help with instances like this.
Yeah, again, it's just resources that need to be taken advantage of. They're there. People just have to do a little research and find out the resources that are available to them.
Thank you so much for joining us, Sheldon. We appreciate it. And we are going to bring in someone that you know very shortly, but we want to thank everyone first who commented last week during the live show on Facebook to let us know where they were watching from. Michael DiGaetano from Local 1484 in California, Leslie Casiello Raymond from Local 589 in Boston, George Trapp from Local 1943 in Ohio, Melanie Lynn Irvin, Scott Geyer, Carlos Miguel Cintron from Nephi IAM Local 1429, Martin Osterwald from Local 751 in Seattle, Gail Howard from 2296, Matt Henry, Diana Shepard from Tampa, Gil Yap III from Nephi Local 1998, Andy Stevens, Coop, I think it's been Bonnie, Kashi Tullis from Local 2699 in Georgia. Please forgive me if I butchered your name. David Sneed from Local 315 in New Jersey, Andy Hainzinger from Local 66 in Wisconsin, and Chris Valoria from District 15 in New York City. We want to thank you all for commenting and let us know where you're watching from. I see we're already getting some comments on YouTube, so thank you for that. And like I said, let us know if you're a veteran, where you served, and what you're doing now. Now, we're not done yet with Local 4 from Pax River. We want to bring on Brian Steinmax. Did I say it correctly, Brian?
You got it. That's impressive.
Okay, you're the Secretary-Treasurer. Tell us a little bit about you and your service. When and where did you serve?
So I enlisted pretty much right out of high school, same time at about 19 years old. It was 2001, so not long before 9/11 happened. I was in the Marines for 5 years with Ross Semper Fi, and I did a year out in Okinawa. I did 2 combat tours in Iraq when I was stationed in Camp Pendleton with 5th Battalion, 11th Marines.
And what was your job? Like, what were you doing?
I was an artillery mechanic. Artillery mechanics are funny in that you're pretty much an artilleryman. You just have the extra duty of working on the guns too when they break down. Okay. So we do a lot of double duty.
And what was the transition like for you? When did you come out, and what was your first re-entry job, I guess you could say?
So I got out in 2006, the very beginning of 2006, and I wanted to find a way to keep serving my country. I got out because I felt an obligation to my family. I deployed twice, and I was getting ready to deploy for a 3rd time, and I didn't feel like that would be fair to my wife.
That's tough. Being away from family.
It was a hard decision, but fortunately, I found a job down at Pax River in a contract role, so I could still serve the fleet, helping out. It was for the Navy, which isn't bad. It's a department. The Marines are a department of the Navy, so it felt all right.
Do you have a message for union members out there, or even for people who are serving now that are thinking about getting a job after their deployment ends?
I'd say I can relate a lot because we were just in the beginning stages of organizing when I got out, and I started working at DynCorp on Pax River. And I didn't have a lot of union experience. I didn't know a lot about what union membership was about. And the abilities that we have now to, serve our, coworkers, to work together, to join, and help better everyone's lives. There's a lot of people in the service contract industry that don't know, what a union benefit is. And I think for those of us that are organized, we need to reach out to the people that aren't and really work on bringing them in and strengthening our numbers.
What do you tell them in terms of how a union contract has helped you?
So the biggest things for me have been the benefits. We have a great pension plan. Our insurance is a lot better than what it was beforehand. The thing that holds people back in service contract industry is it's called the area wage determination, and you can't get wage increases through government procurement without a union. So really, when you're working in the service contract industry, it makes all the sense in the world to join a union. It doesn't make sense not to, honestly.
Okay, what advice do you have for someone that is about to, try to find a job?
Boy.
Or any message. This is your chance to give a shout out to anybody.
Shout out to anybody. I'd say just as working people, we need to stick together, and no one's going to do the fighting for us. And the union is really our only way to take power into our own hands. So we need to do that.
Great. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come up here and join us. Wish you the best of luck. Keep in touch, and we'll see you at the union meetings.
I appreciate it.
All right. Well, next, we are going to bring in Charlie Mcauliffe, who is our retired Director of Retiree Services. And we keep in touch with Charlie and wanted to talk to him because he's seen so much history here at the IAM. Charlie, are you there?
Yes, I am. Thank you for having me.
I love technology, Charlie. Thanks for being here. Now, you're a veteran, too. When and where did you serve?
Yes, I was a veteran during Vietnam. I stationed with the 9th Infantry Division in Vietnam. I was a combat engineer first, And then I was moved to Graves Registration and worked with chaplains.
Yeah, that sounds like you did a lot. When you were the director, you're retired now, Retirees Community Services and the EAP director, you had been in touch with a lot of veterans and had met a lot of veterans over the years. What are some of the things that they told you about their needs? What did they need when they started working under an IAM contract and then retired?
Right. The first thing they need is a job, to be able to return back to a job that they may have left, or veterans coming in need training programs to get into jobs. Returning back to work is really important for an individual vet, because it's kind of returning back to normalcy, which is historically very significant.
Now, Charlie, you over the years have some stories to tell, and one of them in IAM history and in labor history has to do with FDR and World War II. Tell us about what happened at the Navy Yard.
Yeah, actually, it was World War One. He was Secretary of the Navy for a period of time, and he went to visit the local lodge at the Navy Yard and spoke to the general membership of the local lodge at the Navy Yard towards the end of World War One. The IM has always been very close to the military because of function of our work, and it has a historical significance. That relationship would blossom into a really great relationship once he became president of the United States many years later. But that's a whole other story, which I won't bore you with.
It's not boring at all, Charlie.
Yeah, well, but that's another story, and we might save for another time. But
Okay.
It's important to understand why there's a need to help veterans, why the nation needs to help veterans. It dates back to ancient history. Returning veterans without work or without a livelihood can be detrimental to the whole society, not just unemployment, but a rise in violence, a rise in suicides, a whole rise in social ills without veterans returning back to work, not having some kind of a GI Bill, which was enacted in 1944 with a great push by the IAM, and other labor unions pushed hard for the GI Bill.
Yes, tell us a little bit about that push. I mean, what was necessary to make sure that that passed?
Well, that was politically necessary. So legislatively, the labor movement worked real hard to get the GI Bill. The GI Bill at a time in 1944, the way it was written and the way it started out was a returning vet would be getting something in the range of $65 a month, and if they were single. And if they were married, they'd get $90 a month. Those are educational benefits and home buying benefits in the early days. By 1946, it rose, dollar amount rose to $175 for a single vet, and then $200 for a married vet. And that was primarily to go to school.
Today, but that was a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was necessary because that was a stipend to be able to go to school or to be involved in apprenticeship programs. Now, it wasn't very smooth. A lot of employers after 1946 started to try to use veterans benefits to cheapen the wage rate for people to come in. In other words, what they would do is they would sign them up for apprenticeships, and the employer would reduce their pay by the amount of money that the government was going to get them. That created a really large scandal, and organized labor really fought against that. Plus the fact that employers, hard to believe, would try to subvert the seniority system for vets returning back. Generally, under the GI Bill, a vet would return back to work to a job they had, if they had the job, prior to going into the service without any loss in pay, without any loss in seniority. But employers were not too good in the early days to implement those rules. So organized labor had to fight for that. And a lot of vets coming back joined labor unions and were a big part of the push to create labor unions and create more labor unions and growth of the labor movement and up through the 50s. The next time we
go ahead, I cut you off.
The next time we saw a problem with the GI Bill was in 1970. Richard Nixon wanted to water down the GI Bill in a way so as to get more jobs for returning vets. And those are Vietnam vets at that time, of course. And there was a softening in the labor market at the time. So it was organized labor, and the Machinists Union was involved in this push to make sure that before any changes were made to the GI Bill, that there would be an effort to increase employment for GIs at that time. So labor movement and the Machinists Union in particular really fought for GI Bill and veterans benefit right along throughout its history.
Well, Charlie, we thank you so much for joining us remotely and taking the time out of your day to educate us about our IAM history and our history with the military and explaining the GI Bill. So thank you so much.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
We'll talk to you soon, Charlie.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we hope to have Charlie on again, depending on which part of the history of the IAM we're talking about. He's a great guest. Our next guest work very close to Machinists Union headquarters, almost across the street. Now, for those of you who haven't been here before, we're located just outside the Washington, D.C. Beltway, halfway between Forestville, Maryland, and Upper Marlboro. And the only thing that separates us from Joint Base Andrews is Route 4, the extension of Pennsylvania Avenue. Now, we often hear fighter jets flying overhead. We often see Air Force One and Marine One, and we are so proud of our members over there who are also our neighbors. And joining us now is Jason Gaffed, Vice President of IAM Local 24. Thanks for being here, Jason.
Thanks for having me, Tanya.
So tell us a little bit about your service, when and where you served.
Certainly. I joined the Marine Corps in 1999. I had a 5-year enlistment, got out in 2004, and enjoyed every minute of it.
Now, what was your job? What were you doing?
I was a crew chief on CH-53 Echoes, a helicopter. So I was essentially a door gunner / mechanic, so jack of all trades.
I'm glad you explained what it was.
Certainly.
He said a helicopter.
Yeah.
Even though I come from an Army family, you know, those acronyms.
It's a big helicopter.
Yes, yes. So thank you for your service.
No problem.
And then when you were transitioning, trying to find work, what was that like?
Initially, it was very difficult. I transitioned out of the military, was refurbishing houses, doing menial construction type jobs. And luckily I was able to get on with this contract at Andrews, fixing helicopters. And it's been an amazing experience.
So it's going back to what you were trained to do.
Exactly. The military gave me the skills to pay the bills.
The skills to pay the bills. We have to remember that. There are a lot of people that may be looking for work now, or they may be about to finish their deployment. And they may not think that they have the skills for other jobs, but you all are taught so much, no matter what branch you're in. Tell me a little bit about some of the skills that do transfer well.
Certainly. Leadership is the main trait, I think, that carries over from all branches of the military. Every individual pretty much gets that in them from the military. That transitions to any career field. But especially with the union, we need leaders, we need people to step up, and people with military experience are generally the ones that come to the forefront. So.
And how did you get involved in the union?
One of our local members, Brother Greg French, he's a bit of an icon in our local. He bought me an Egg McMuffin sandwich and said, "You're now our Secretary-Treasurer."
Woo,
so
there you go.
I was voluntold.
You were bribed with an Egg
I was
McMuffin.
I was bribed.
But it looks like it worked out well.
I love it. I've had many positions in the local.
What was your first one?
Secretary-Treasurer was the original job, but I've been recording secretary, president, and now I'm the vice president of our local. So I've run the gambit.
Any advice for someone who would like to be more active in the union?
Step up. Talk to people that are involved with your local, whether it be a shop steward, your chief steward, anybody you can get your hands on. If you talk to them, they're going to sucker you in. They're going to grab you and they're going to say, here's when the meeting is. We need you to be there. So just get involved. Anytime you step up, you're going to be rewarded.
When did you realize that the union had really helped you, not just in your current job, but just as a veteran? What are the benefits that really stood out to you?
Like you said earlier, we're lucky enough to be so close to Washington, D.C. I've had opportunities to go to Capitol Hill, lobby for the union, and I've seen what they're actually doing for veterans, the benefits that they're trying to gain, how they actually talk to senators, congressmen, and get laws that are actually passed to benefit veterans. The union's behind that 100%. So I've seen it firsthand in action, and that really drew me and made me want to become more involved.
What's your message to veterans watching today?
Really, you're leaders. Get involved. Step up to the plate. We need more help, and you will be surprised at how rewarding it is. Initially, it's going to be difficult, but with any task, you'll gain a lot out of it.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Tanya.
We just love having you guys in here. We're going to have to do this more often with multiple members because
Sure.
we really want to showcase our members, and we appreciate you coming over after a long day of work. You're an early riser, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, wow.
4:30.
Every time I hear the word ma'am, I'm like, ooh. You should have seen the first time somebody called me ma'am.
It's drilled in there. I can't even get it out
It's
if I
training.
wanted to.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you so much, Jason.
Thanks, Tanya.
Wow. And we are going to let you know that we are on YouTube. We are on Twitter. You can make your comments on YouTube at any time. Normally we try to be on all three, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Today we're on Twitter and YouTube. So we do have people that are telling us that they are telling us about their service on YouTube in the comments. Mac McKinney, shout out to Local Lodge 2210 in San Antonio. So we thank him so much for telling us about that. So keep on making those comments, and thank you for telling us your branch of service. We really appreciate it. And we're going to move on now to Charles Yonker.
SR-71 is the world's fastest jet. The U-2R model, the one I worked, is the highest flying model. Wow. And they both travel in spacesuits. It was quite an ordeal.
That's amazing. How does that feel to be working?
Yeah. Well, they've retired the SR-71, but since then the U-2's still flying it. Yeah, it's a great thing.
I mean, you're a part of history to be working on these.
Yep. I was so young at an age, it really kind of went right over my head.
Yeah, how old were you when you started?
23.
23.
A little older, but.
So that's pretty common,
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember when I was 23. It was a while ago.
Right.
But yeah, you're just, bright-eyed and willing to jump right in.
Right.
And that training that you went through, those are great skills to have.
Certainly is.
Now, when you made the transition, what was that like for you?
It was relatively easy because I transitioned, my parking spot moved basically 100 yards closer to the gate. I'm working with the same bunch of guys that I did at Andrews. We transitioned out when I retired right into about the same job that I'm doing now. So it really worked out well for me. It wasn't much of a transition.
Tell us a little bit about the skills. I mean, I feel like you do have some skills that you could take anywhere.
Sure, certainly. Like was mentioned earlier, leadership skills are foremost. I mean, that gets embedded into you, and it shines. And you really don't notice it until you get out with a bunch of people. And you can, anyone that's in the military, you can get within 20 people, and you're going to be able to pick those 20 people out that have served. It's just obvious.
Now, when you were first starting to get involved with the union, how did you become active?
I was asked if I wanted a job as a shop steward, which is the title I'm holding right now. And at first I wasn't sure I wanted to, but the more I got into it, the more I'm thinking that this is for me. And I'm helping people, and it is quite rewarding.
And you're changing people's lives for the better by helping to improve conditions. Any message for other shop stewards out there, especially the new ones that are just starting?
Don't be afraid to step up, move forward, be motivated.
And for any veterans, you're the last veteran that we are interviewing, so I'll give you some time if you would like to say anything to the veterans out there, especially the ones that are looking for work.
Right. Don't be upset with yourself. Stay motivated, keep moving forward. It's going to happen. You'll find something. But take advantage of every resource possible. That's probably the most important thing. Use those resources.
Before we go, what was the union benefit that really stood out to you when you had that contract?
Probably all the benefits.
Health
all the
benefits, everything.
Exactly.
That's great. Well, thank you for your service. Thank you for being here and taking the time.
Thank you.
I hope you win some lobster if you've entered the I don't know, Brian's saying that he thinks he's winning the lobster, but
Right.
thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And if you were just happening to join us, Lobster 207 in Maine is giving away 5 pounds of free lobster to a veteran. So you can go to their Lobster 207 Facebook page and you can like it, share it, nominate a veteran. You can nominate yourself if you are a veteran. There you can see right there on the screen. So if you just search Lobster 207, just like the page, share it, and then go ahead in the comments and write down the name of the veteran that you're nominating. And they're going to pick the winner this Saturday. So good luck to everybody there. Before we move on, now we're moving on to our calendar items because we always like to tell you what's coming on, but we want you to also comment whenever you can on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can post and let us know where you served. If you're a veteran, post a picture of when you served because we love those photos. But coming up this month, we have a few events we want to tell you about. December 7th to the 9th, we have the Washington Council of Machinists meeting in Union, Washington. December 16th is Wreaths Across America, an event where you can volunteer to lay wreaths in graves in national cemeteries near you. And I'll be out at Arlington National Cemetery. We'll have some machinists out there. I'll even have some people from my alma mater will be out there as well. We want to give a shout out to the leadership class at what we call W3. The William Wimpesinger Center down in Hollywood, Maryland. Next week, that's going on now, the leadership class, but next week we'll have a live studio audience with students from our basic communicators class at the William W. Wimpesinger Education and Technology Center in Hollywood, Maryland. And we'll talk about organizing, apprenticeships, and our very own labor music band, Union Nation. That's next Wednesday at 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. But tonight, join us at 7 p.m. Eastern, that's tonight at 7, for the Wimpy Awards. There are newsletter and website awards. And this year, we turned the competition results into a live show. So watch it right here on this page. And we leave you now with a video produced by IAM Communications representatives Andy Hounshell and John Lett, thanking our veterans. So keep watching.
Duty, honor, sacrifice, commitment, discipline. Words that describe the men and women who serve our great nation in the armed forces. They took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic. They've earned the right to be called veterans. The International Association of Machinists and Aerospace Workers is thankful for these veterans. While many are our family, our friends, and our neighbors, we are most proud to have thousands among our ranks as brothers and sisters. From the coast of Maine to the beaches of Southern California, our members proudly build and sustain many of the naval ships that guard our ports and the fighter jets protecting our skies. The IAM is proud to be the leading union in the service contract industry, not only providing prior service members with good contracts so they can support their families, but also providing our current military with a highly skilled and productive support system. On this Veterans Day, the IAM would like to thank the thousands of fighting machinists who served our great nation and the millions of veterans around the world.